Hi, this is Sarit Switzer, and welcome to the It Is Taught podcast, a podcast devoted to the teachings of Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi as recorded in his most famous work, the Tanya. My hope for this show is to make these teachings accessible and relatable to the average person, regardless of prior Jewish education or affiliation. The episodes follow the prescribed daily study portions and are meant to serve as practical lessons in how to live your life as your true self and develop an authentic and powerful relationship with your Creator. I have personally experienced the effects the study of this work has had on me, and I'm excited to share what I can of this knowledge with you. So please join me on this journey of learning, self-growth, and connection with your source. Hi, so welcome to episode 15 of the It Is Taught podcast. We're up to the 3rd of Teves in a leap year, and we are finishing chapter 4 today. So if you've been following along, this is the conclusion of chapter 4, where we're talking about the greatness of the garments of the soul and their lofty source. So once again, to reiterate, the garments of the soul are thought, speech, and action, and these are the garments by which the soul is able to perform God's will, the mitzvahs, in this world here. And we said that so lofty are these garments that they actually are higher than the soul itself, because the origin of these garments are from Torah itself, which Torah is the manifest wisdom of God. And we explained how this manifest wisdom of God is really something very extraordinary, because God is really very unfathomable. Nobody can really understand God, essentially. But nevertheless, God constricted himself into the Torah and into the commandments to make himself accessible to humankind. And the way that we are able to access this is through our garments of the soul, which are sourced in this very Torah. So now today's portion, the Alter Rebbe begins, and he says that this explains why it's taught in Pirkei Avos, chapter 4, verse 17, that 1 hour of tshuva, of true repentance here in this world, and doing good deeds in this world is greater than the entire world to come. And so how could that be? You know, when we think about the world to come, when we think about heaven, whatever you want to call it, you know, it's a very lofty place where we know that the souls are sitting and just being totally spiritual. They're not bogged down by anything physical at all. And they're basking in the ray of God the whole time. So how could it be that one act of goodness down here in this world, one act of moment of repentance, is way better than anything in the world to come? And so the Alter Rebbe explains that he says, listen to the particulars. It says that in the world to come, what are the souls doing? The souls are sitting and basking in the radiance of God. So yes, that's true. They are basking in the radiance of God. But if you listen carefully, they're only basking in his radiance, not in his essence. Because the truth is that nobody, no thought can capture the essence of God. So as much as the souls, what do souls do after they pass away? They're sitting and they're learning and they're trying to, contemplate different lofty, godly ideas, but nobody is able to capture the essence of God. So the only way that a person can actually capture the essence of God in an essential way is by performing Torah and mitzvahs here in this world. Because like we mentioned, the Torah and mitzvahs are the will and wisdom of God, and God's will and wisdom is one and the same with him. So this really points to the fact that it really, really is quite amazing that we have this ability as human beings here in this physical world to do something that souls that are beyond this world cannot ever do. And that is to connect with God in this very essential way. And that Alter Rebbe ends off here, and he gives a parable of a king. And he says that it's just like if somebody were to hug a king, and let's say the king was wearing a lot of garments, that let's say they were wearing a lot of layers. Would somebody think that they're not really hugging the king because of that? Of course not. No matter how many garments the king is wearing, no matter how many layers, if you hug that king, that means you're hugging the king. And so too with God, and so too with the Torah and mitzvahs, that even though, yes, the Torah and mitzvahs is a way that God constricted himself and put himself into this world and vested himself in our souls to have the ability to connect with him. Nevertheless, these are just garments, just like a king would wear garments. And we know that the Torah comes from the right side, which is the side of chesed, the side of kindness. So it really is like God is hugging us from the right. And so we really are all experiencing this hug of the King of God when we perform his will. So that's it for today. We have finished chapter 4 and we'll move on to chapter 5 tomorrow. I'll speak to you then. Thanks for listening to the It Is Taught podcast, hosted by Sarit Switzer. This podcast is dedicated in loving memory of my maternal grandfather, Avraham Yitzchak ben Binyamin HaKohen of blessed memory. Music by Shoshana. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to support the show, please share it with others and subscribe on YouTube, Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And make sure to leave us a 5-star review. To find out more about the It Is Taught project, including more information on my soon-to-be published book, please visit our website, itistaught.com. To catch the latest from me, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Looking forward to speaking with you tomorrow, and until then, have a great day.